Hello and welcome to my review of the Inquisitor Eisenhorn Black Library Celebration 2018 model. This model will cost you £20. It's a fair bit of money for a single miniature, but if you're like me and you read the Eisenhorn novel or novels almost 20 years ago, then you'll probably be prepared to pay any amount of money. But is the model any good? Well, firstly, it comes in this very nice box. I'm changing my lighting a little bit. I'm using the camera's lighting, so hopefully it's adequate. But you get it in this box. Very nice little box. Shows you the colours that they used. Kind of like a young version of Eisenhorn here. It's to celebrate his latest adventures in the Magos or the Magos or Magos, whatever you want to call it. And you do get the 40k rules, and I will be going through them towards the end of the review. So first of all, yes, if you can't already tell, it is Finecast. A lot of people have issues with Finecast. I don't know why. The main issues seem to be around that other people have had issues rather than themselves. I completely understand that people have had issues with Finecast themselves for whatever reason. Typically for models with like rods or wings or really fine detail parts. Well, you've seen my collection on the channel, thousands of miniatures. I've never had a single problem with Finecast, not a single one. I do prefer plastic to work with, definitely. But for detail, this is clearly on par, if not better, than Forge World resin. And it's not as harmful to you, and it's easier to work with, I find, than Forge World resin. It heats up and melts quicker. The slippage or whatever, and the mold lines are easy to clean up. But anyway, enough about that and Finecast, because it's quite controversial. But you'll probably see this big green sort of splodge. I've actually worked that in and smoothed it off. You won't really be able to tell, but just a word of warning, when you're putting the cloak to his body, you may be left with quite a large gap. That's remedied by putting a little bit of green stuff in there and heating it with a hairdryer and gently with a blunt instrument like a cocktail stick or something like that, or a sculpting tool, just moving the cloak towards his body and sort of moulding it there so you get less of a gap. But that's the only sort of issue I had. The rod was fine. You know, it's nice and straight, but if yours is a bit bent, you can always heat it with a hairdryer and wiggle it into place and it'll set like that. The base is lovely. I've seen pictures on Instagram of people painting their base first. That's a really good idea. You know, by all means, it really depends on whether you paint your bases first and then glue the model on, but lots and lots of detail. Hopefully you can see this even with this lighting. There's lots of detail in the skull 3D details, so that's going to be great for shading and highlighting. He's got his Inquisitor symbol. He's got like a strap. He's got a strap for this book, which is called the Malus Codiceum. He's got this Artificer bolt pistol. I said in the unboxing that there is some sort of wood grain on the body of the gun, the outer casing with a little skull symbol. There's also some kind of like little turbine thing at the back. It's only on this side though. Really, really cool. Up to you if you want to use a very fine drill bit to drill the side holes on. I mean, the frontal hole is fine, but you might want to just drill in there just so that you can, because the human eye will be able to see through that. But it's just if you want to kind of, you know, make sure you use the right one, because you don't want to jeopardize the barrel rim at all and deform it, but completely up to you. And then he's got his little scrolls and stuff and holster and you know, all kinds of things going on. I think these might actually be his little grenades that he uses. But yeah, lovely model, lots of detail, worth the money in my opinion, even if it's Finecast. Didn't really have any issues other than that cloak bit going on. And when you spray it and put some paint on him, he's going to look excellent next to a load of assassins or a retinue or whatever. Great for a diorama too. So spare parts, there are none. What you see is what you get. They're the only parts you get just to build the model. Size comparisons aside, he is bigger than a Space Marine. which blew my mind. Yeah, this Space Marine is old, but yeah, if you look there, look where his feet is. I mean, even if you add the extra sort of base and the rubble, he's still taller than a Space Marine. He's obviously not as thick, but yeah, so quite a tall fella, very enhanced and stuff. And the bolt pistol does seem a bit small, but I think it's in proportion. But there you go. However, next to the new and improved Primaris Space Marines, they could definitely take him on. Not psycho wise, obviously, but height wise, the bolt gun is probably almost as big as him. But yeah, there you go. That's next to a Primaris and next to a Custodian Guard. Yes, you could see him sort of peering up to one of those and asking for the way through to the Emperor's Palace, or for whatever reason. Maybe he'd never get that far, but there you go, next to a Custodian Guard. And then found this from somewhere, this Chaos Spawn. I thought it'd be quite interesting. This will feature on the channel at some point, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, next to the Chaos Spawn, the Chaos Spawn is definitely quite big, but yeah, it's sort of kind of things that he'd be going up against to repel or whatever, and banish back, or maybe use in his service. Well, maybe not this one, but you get where I'm coming from. So yeah, make a great diorama, I think, both of those. So yeah, that is the Eisenhorn model. What I will do now is just talk to you about all the rules. So you get a little booklet with his building instructions and these 40k rules in here. They are the 8th edition 40k rules for him. He is an HQ choice, and he will cost you a power points cost of a 5, and his match play points cost is 100 points, including his war gear. So 100 points, not that bad for an Inquisitor Psyker of the Ordo Xenos. But there we go, his whole stat line, his movement is 6 inches, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 3, toughness 3, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 10, and a save of 4+. He's a single model armed with an Artificer bolt pistol, the sword Barbarisata, rune staff, and Electrobane grenades. Only one of this model may be included in your army. The weapons that he is equipped with are the Artificer bolt pistol, which is a range 12-inch pistol, one shot, strength 4, AP -1, and a damage of 2. Barbarisata, that's a melee weapon, strength of the user, so it's 3, AP's -3 though, and a damage is D3, so that's pretty good, and you get to add 1 to hit rolls for the weapon. He's also got the rune staff, which is a melee weapon, but this time it's a strength +3, which means it's strength 6, AP -1, and a damage of D3, so we can use the sword or the rune staff. Electrobane grenades, 6-inch grenade, 1, strength 4, AP -1, and a damage 1. However, if the target is a vehicle and you roll a wound of a 4+, so you've got 50-50 chance, target suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to the normal damage, or D3 mortal wounds if the wound roll was a 6+. That's pretty good, that's pretty decent, that you can knock off, D3 mortal wounds off a vehicle, but obviously he's going to have to get 6 inches to the vehicle. Now, if you turn the page, he does actually have a load of rules on the other side, so bear that in mind if you get him. His abilities: Quarry, Authority of the Inquisition. You need to see Index Imperium 2, which is a bit cheeky in my opinion. It gets you, you have to then buy the Index Imperium 2 to find out what Authority of the Inquisition is, and Quarry. Personally, I think, for this one-off model, they should have added that in there. Bit disappointed with that, but I'm sure you can find an explanation or watch a YouTube video of what that means. Unquestionable Wisdom. All friendly Imperium units within 6 inches of Inquisitor Eisenhorn can use his leadership characteristics instead of their own. That's pretty good. Imperium units get the leadership 10. No stranger to pain. Roll a d6 each time Inquisitor Eisenhorn loses a wound, and on a 6, that wound is not lost. So he's pretty much a Custodian Guard then, isn't he? Malus Codiceum. Once per battle at the start of any turn, Inquisitor Eisenhorn can use the Malus Codiceum. If he does so, he loses his Unquestionable Wisdom ability for the remainder of the battle, but you can immediately set up a Demon Host model, again see Index Imperium 2 book, anywhere on the battlefield that is within 6 inches of Inquisitor Eisenhorn and more than 1 inch from any enemy models. This demon host has a character keyword, and its strength, toughness, wounds and attacks characteristics are all increased by 2. That's pretty awesome. I think we know who the demon host is, don't we? Furthermore, whilst this demon host remains within 6 inches of the Inquisitor Eisenhorn, add 1 to hit rolls, wound rolls and invulnerable saving throws made for it. Wow. If Inquisitor Eisenhorn is slain, this demon host is removed as a casualty as well. If you are playing a match, you must pay reinforcement points for this demon host. That's pretty good. Inquisitor Eisenhorn, he's a psyker, so Inquisitor Eisenhorn can attempt to manifest 2 psychic powers in each friendly psychic phase, and attempt to deny 2 psychic powers in each enemy psychic phase. He knows the smite power and 2 psychic powers from the Telethesia discipline, again, Index Imperium 2. Keywords Imperium, Inquisition, Ordo Xenos, Character Infantry, Inquisitor, Psyker and Eisenhorn. So they are all of his rules. Not the best, you know, but quite cheap at 100 points. Yes, you're not getting an invulnerable save. Yes, his toughness is only 3, but no stranger to pain. You can you basically get a feel no pain with a roll of a 6. You can bump up Imperium units to a leadership 10. You get this quarry and authority of the Inquisition, which you're going to have to look up and find out what that means. And the Malus Codiceum is pretty good because you get that demon host to float about with him, and demon hosts are pretty good. Also, it's pretty good that he's a psyker, but he can attempt 2 psychic powers and deny 2. Often it's only manifest 2 but deny 1, but he can manifest 2 and deny 2. He knows smite, and also he knows 2 psychic powers from the Index Imperium 2. It's nice that he's got 4 attacks. Again, his save isn't the best. You know, he does have 5 wounds though, but you're going to be stripping them with his toughness 3. I think he'll do all right in combat. Yeah, his weapon skill's only 3+, but he can get his strength 6, or he can get his AP -3. So I think he's going to do okay, and yeah, he's going to do some decent damage against vehicles as well, if you manage to get him in that far. Delivery methods, I'm not really sure. Maybe a Chimera, you know, like an Inquisitor Chimera, something like that. You definitely want a host with him, some kind of retinue. You don't want him on his own anywhere. But yeah, if you've got like an Imperial Agents army or whatnot, they're clearly due for an 8th edition upgrade at some point. I'm hoping they come around the, dare I say it, the clocks will reset, the Sisters of Battle release, which are rumoured to be in production. So they might be towards the end of the summer for them. Hopefully we won't have too long to wait for, you know, a nice retinue for him and things like that. But I think, you know, non-Imperium armies have to come first now for the next few months. Anyway, what do you guys think of Eisenhorn? Have you already painted him? Have you used him in a game with a little retinue somehow? Please do put it in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.